The Lord hear thee in the day of trouble. The name of the God of Jacob defend thee. Psalm 20. There are mornings when the air feels heavy, when you wake not to peace, but to pressure. The kind of morning where your mind starts running before your feet hit the floor. You already feel the weight of emails unanswered, bills unpaid, conflicts unresolved, dreams delayed. You feel the invisible war around you, the battle for your focus, your family, your future. You whisper to yourself, I can't do this again. But hear me, you were never meant to fight every battle alone. Psalm 20 is a reminder that there is a greater power, a divine commander, who goes before you into every conflict, who fights for you, who defends you when your strength fails, who gives you victory, not because you're perfect, but because you're positioned under his authority. This psalm begins not with human confidence, but divine assurance. May the Lord answer you in the day of trouble. Trouble is not evidence of God's absence. It's the environment in which his power is revealed. Some people think faith eliminates battles. It doesn't. Faith changes how you fight them. It gives you perspective in chaos, composure in crisis, and courage when you'd rather run. This morning, you may feel surrounded by problems. But what if heaven has surrounded? What surrounds you? What if the very thing meant to break you is being used to build you? When David penned Psalm 20, and he was preparing for battle, not just swords and shields, but political betrayal, personal fatigue, spiritual testing. He was a king facing uncertainty, leading others while managing his own fear. And yet, he declares, may he send you help from the sanctuary and strengthen you out of Zion. In other words, God's help comes not from your network, your title, your savings, or your strategy. It comes from his presence. The help you need isn't always visible. Sometimes it's spiritual. It's wisdom when confusion shouts. It's peace when fear screams. It's direction when doors close. Maybe today, you're not standing on a literal battlefield, but you're fighting nonetheless. You're fighting to stay focused in distraction. You're fighting to stay hopeful when outcomes look bleak. You're fighting to keep your integrity when shortcuts look easier. You're fighting to keep believing when nothing seems to move. This psalm is for you. It is God's personal assurance that he sees, he knows, and he fights for you. May the name of the God of Jacob defend you. That phrase, the God of Jacob, is intentional. It's not the God of perfect Abraham or faithful Moses. It's the God of Jacob, the one who wrestled, deceived, failed, but was still chosen. It's the God who fights for people who don't have it all together, but are still holding on to faith. That's mercy. That's covenant love. That's your God. So pray with me now. Our Father, this morning, I bring before you every battle I cannot see. The ones in my mind, the ones in my family, the ones in my finances, I lay them at your feet. I refuse to fight with fear, with pride, or with panic. I choose to trust in you. Send help from heaven. Strengthen me where I am weak. Defend me where I am exposed. Let every weapon formed against me fail. Let every scheme meant to harm me turn for my good. Go before me into every meeting, every decision, every storm. Make me still enough to hear your strategy and brave enough to follow it. You see, in Psalm 20, there is a divine pattern. David prays for victory before the battle begins. That's wisdom. Too many of us pray only after we've been hit. But faith prays in advance. Faith prepares the soul before the storm. You can't control the wind, but you can fortify your sails. You can't predict the conflict, but you can decide who commands your heart. When you begin your day this way, rooted in divine trust, you're not reacting to life, you're ruling it. Verse 4 says, may he grant you according to your heart's desire and fulfill all your purpose. There's a difference between desire and purpose. Desire is what you want. Purpose is what you're born for. God will bless your desires when they align with his purpose. That's why prayer is not a shopping list. It's an alignment process. It tunes your heart to heaven's rhythm. When you pray like this and you stop asking, why is this happening to me? And you start asking, what is this shaping in me? Every battle has a blueprint for growth. Every attack is permission for advancement. Maybe you've been asking God to end the battle, but he's been trying to teach you to win it. You can't develop authority without adversity. You can't build courage without conflict. You can't carry victory without first carrying vision. When David says, may we shout for joy when you are victorious, he's not talking about personal ego. He's talking about collective triumph. Your breakthrough isn't just for you, it's for everyone attached to you. When you rise, your family rises. When you endure, your children inherit faith. When you stand firm, others find courage. You are someone's proof that victory is possible. Now look at verse 5 again. May the Lord fulfill all your petitions. That's not a promise that you get everything you want. It's assurance that God hears everything you bring. Sometimes his no is protection. Sometimes his delay is development. Sometimes his silence is strategy. You don't have to understand the timing to trust the plan. Let's talk about courage. Courage is not the absence of fear, it's the mastery of it. It's the ability to act while trembling. It's what separates those who give up from those who grow up. You see, courage doesn't come from adrenaline, it comes from assurance. That's why verse 7 is one of the most powerful statements in Scripture. Some trust in chariots and some in horses, but we will remember the name of the Lord our God. Chariots represent systems. Horses represent strength. In today's world, that verse might read some trust in salaries, some in savings, some in networks, some in algorithms. But we trust in the name of the Lord because systems can fail, companies can collapse, economies can shift, people can change, but God remains constant. This verse calls you to a deeper loyalty. Who do you trust when resources dry up? Who do you turn to when every door closes? The modern mind trusts in numbers, but the kingdom mind trusts in names. And there's no name higher than the name of Jesus. His name carries authority in every realm: physical, financial, emotional, spiritual. His name breaks cycles, silences storms, confuses the enemy. That's why you can walk into uncertain situations with calm confidence. You're not just carrying credentials, you're carrying covenant. So when fear starts whispering, you're outnumbered, you answer, I am surrounded but by him. When discouragement says you're losing, you declare, my God fights for me. When fatigue says you can't keep going, you remind yourself, the joy of the Lord is my strength. That's not denial. That's defiance against defeat. That's the mindset of a warrior who knows their victory is guaranteed. Not because of circumstances, but because of covenant. Verse 8 says, they are brought to their knees and fall, but we rise up and stand firm. This is the difference between those who fight in their own strength and those who fight in God's. Life will knock everyone down, but some rise differently. When your confidence is in yourself, failure is final. But when your confidence is in God, failure is formative. You rise, not just because you're strong, you rise because you're covered. I want you to internalize this victory is not an event, it's a lifestyle. It's not one moment of triumph. It's a daily posture of faith. Every morning you wake, you declare, the battle is the Lord's, but I will show up for the fight. You put on courage like armor, gratitude like a shield, prayer like a weapon. You stop living like a victim and start moving like a victor. That's how you bring heaven's power into earth's problems. Some of you have been fighting the wrong way, trying to fix everything by yourself. You've mistaken control for strength, but control drains you. Surrender renews you. God cannot fight for you while you're busy fighting Him for the steering wheel. Victory requires trust, and trust often requires stillness. Sometimes your greatest act of courage is to stop striving and start believing. Let this morning be a reset. Let this prayer be a declaration of faith. Lord, I will not fear what I see. I will not doubt what I know. You are my defender, my protector, my provider. You go before me. You fight beside me. You surround me. I may be pressed, but I am not crushed, challenged, but not defeated, delayed, but not denied. I trust you. And when God gives victory, because He will remember the purpose of it, victory is not for vanity, it's for influence. It's not to say, look what I did, but to declare, look what He has done. Your success is supposed to point people to your source. That's why true victory produces humility, not arrogance. If your win makes you proud, it's temporary. If it makes you grateful, it's eternal. Let's get practical for a moment. If God fights your battles, then your job is to stay aligned with His strategy. That means guarding your mind from fear, guarding your words from negativity, guarding your time from distraction. You cannot pray for victory and then partner with defeat through your thoughts. You can't expect breakthrough while feeding on doubt. Victory is not magic, it's management. You manage your faith, your focus, your attitude. You don't have to feel fearless. You just have to stay faithful. So today, when challenges rise, when that problem reappears, when that temptation resurfaces, when that voice of doubt returns, don't react. Respond. Lift your head. Remember Psalm 20. You are not alone. The Lord has heard your cry. Heaven's armies are moving on your behalf. You might not see the chariots of fire, but they're surrounding your situation. You might not feel the shift yet, but it's already happening. Maybe you've been waiting for a sign. This is it. You're still here. You survived what tried to destroy you. You outlasted storms, others didn't. That's not luck, that's evidence. The God who preserved you will now promote you. The God who defended you will now deliver you. The battle you're in is not about destruction, it's about preparation. God is training you for greater influence, greater stewardship, greater faith. So take a breath, straighten your shoulders. You are not the defeated, you are the defended. You are not the forgotten, you are the favored. You are not abandoned, you are anointed. The same God who gave David victory will give it to you. The same power that raised Jesus from the dead lives in you. And when heaven fights for you, no strategy of hell can stand against you. Now say this out loud as your confession today. The Lord fights my battles. He is my defender, my refuge, my strength. I trust in his name, not in my resources. I will see victory. I will walk in peace. I will rise in faith. I will stand in courage. I am covered. I am chosen. I am confident in his power. And when the day ends and you look back, no matter what happened, you'll see it. Evidence. A conversation that turned in your favor. A door that didn't open because it wasn't meant to. A problem that looked impossible but shifted in ways you couldn't explain. That's what divine defense looks like. Not always dramatic, but always deliberate. So as you step into today, you remember God does not lose battles. If you stay aligned with him, neither will you. You may feel surrounded, but you're encircled by victory. You may feel tired, but strength is on the way. You may not know how, but the how is not your job, it's his. Your role is to stand in faith, move in wisdom, and keep your spirit anchored in truth. The same God who answered David in the day of trouble will answer you. The same God who fought for Israel will fight for your home, your health, your destiny. The same name that silenced lions and split seas still speaks your name this morning. So rise, a warrior of purpose. The battle is the Lord's and the victory is yours. Now walk into this day like someone who knows they're covered. Walk with quiet authority and speak peace to your own mind. Smile in the face of opposition. The enemy is already defeated. Heaven has already decided. God fights your battles and he never loses.